The room was small. Gray walls surrounded them. A single metal table stood in the center. Two hard chairs waited, uninviting. One wall held a large mirror, one way. Cold air hummed from a hidden vent. No windows offered any view, no escape. This was a place for harsh truths, or carefully constructed lies. It waited. Agent Sterling entered the quiet space. He was a tall man, dressed in a sharp suit. His dark tie was perfectly knotted. His eyes looked tired, but they missed nothing. He glanced at the empty chair opposite him. Then he settled, patient, utterly still. The silence in the room was a heavy blanket. He had played this waiting game many times before. The door creaked open. Two guards brought Jax in. Jax was young. His eyes burned with defiance. He wore a worn leather jacket, old. Faded burn scars marked the skin on his neck. He moved with a restless energy, like a caged tiger. He did not look at Agent Sterling, not yet. He just stood there, a bundle of tense nerves. The air felt thick with unspoken words. Jax finally sat. The chair scraped loudly. The sound echoed in the small, cold room. He stared down at the scratched metal table. Sterling watched him, his gaze steady, unblinking. No words were spoken for a long moment, just observing, calculating, waiting for a crack. The air crackled with unseen tension, two very different forces confined together. Agent Sterling finally broke the silence. His voice was low, calm, measured. "Your name is Jax Ryder?" he asked. Jax gave a short, sharp nod. "Yes, but people call you Blaze," Sterling continued. It was not a question, it was a fact. Jax shifted in his seat, uncomfortable now. "It's just a street nickname," Jax muttered. "There was a significant fire last night," Sterling stated. His eyes locked with Jax's, holding his gaze. "A very bad one, in the warehouse district. Witnesses reported seeing strange things there, flames that seemed to dance, to have a mind. Do you know anything about this fire, Jax?" Jax shook his head, perhaps too quickly, denying. "Your motorcycle was seen near the area." Sterling leaned forward, just a fraction. "Your friends. They say you have a gift." Jax let out a scoff, a harsh, dry sound. "A gift? What kind of gift are you talking about?" He tried to sound dismissive, bored even, but his hands were clenched into tight fists. White knuckles showed his inner strain. "They say you can control fire, Blaze." Sterling's voice remained soft, deceptively gentle, but the words landed with heavy impact. Jax looked away sharply, towards the gray wall. A muscle twitched uncontrollably in his tense jaw. Suddenly the room felt a little warmer. Or was it just his imagination playing tricks? Sterling noticed the subtle shift. "Show me, Jax," Sterling urged, pushing him. "Show me this special gift of yours." Jax glared back. His eyes were blazing now, hot. "I don't know what you're talking about. Are you scared, Blaze? Is that it?" Sterling's tone was a clear challenge, a dare. A dangerous spark ignited deep within Jax's eyes. The temperature in the room rose again. Definitely. Jax slammed his fist down, not with full force. A tiny hesitant flame appeared, unexpectedly. It danced on his knuckles, small, delicate. He looked surprised himself, then instantly angry. He tried to hide his hand beneath the table, but it was too late. Sterling had seen it. The experienced agent did not flinch, did not react. He just watched, intently. The flame grew, brighter, hotter, more intense. Jax gritted his teeth hard, fighting the pain. Veins on his arm pulsed, a faint red glow. He was strong, he could command it, but it hurt. This power always came with a steep price. He held the fire in his palm, a burning torch. His breathing became harsh, strained, labored. The effort was etched on his face. Then, as quickly as it came, it was gone. The flame vanished, sucked back into him. Jax slumped slightly in his chair, exhausted, sweat beaded on his pale forehead. He shivered once, the old scars on his skin looked raw, angry red. Sterling just watched, his face unreadable, silent. His gaze remained intense, searching, probing. The room returned to its normal, cool temperature. Agent Sterling finally spoke, his voice quiet. "Remarkable," he said, almost a whisper. There was no fear in his tone, no anger. "Wonder?" Jax looked up, his expression full of surprise. He had expected shouting, accusations, handcuffs, but Agent Sterling remained perfectly calm, composed. His eyes held a new, strange light, different. It was not the look of a typical lawman. "How long, Jax?" Sterling asked softly. "How long have you been able to do that?" Jax was wary, utterly confused by this reaction. It's complicated," Jax mumbled, avoiding eye contact. He rubbed his arm, where the fire had been. Sterling nodded slowly, understandingly. I can only imagine that it is, he replied. His focus was entirely on the young man. Sterling leaned forward again, closing the distance. That power you have. He paused for effect. It's incredible. Extremely dangerous, yes, of course. He glanced at Jax's hand, the one that held fire. Then his gaze returned to Jax's troubled eyes. But it is also utterly fascinating, wouldn't you agree? A hint of a smile touched Sterling's lips. Small. Jax said nothing. He remained still, wary. What did this strange FBI agent truly want? Sterling stood up slowly, smoothly. This changes things, Jax, he said cryptically. He walked towards the interrogation room door. This changes absolutely everything. He paused. His intrigue was palpable, almost a physical presence. A dangerous new chapter was about to begin.